Well, praise the Lord, saints. This episode of the Soulful Cream Podcast is brought to you by your local Baptist church. I am Cream Diggler. How you doing?
And I
Featuring
am
my
Soulful
best buddy here,
Mexican. Yes, Soulful
and we have a
Mexican.
special guest today with us from the what do you call it?
Cleveland,
The from where? From Cleveland.
the
Yes,
Midwest.
Mister. Which rhymes with Nemean. Did I say it right?
Yes,
You
Nemean.
did.
Nemean. Yeah, Nemean Onyx of Onyx Group. And y'all, well, first of all, clap. Welcome. Welcome to the podcast. We are so happy to have you here. Please make yourself at home, Nemean. You are family for the next hour. So just relax. Just relax. Because we want to get you all relaxed and loose so you let everything out.
Oh God. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's. I'm so glad that you're willing to do this because, in all seriousness, today's episode is something it's something I've been really curious about for a long time, which is Onyx, the Onyx Group. Soulful and I have talked about this on a couple of occasions, at least. I feel like during our time here. And by the way, this episode is going to be our 50th episode. Come on now.
Yay!
Oh, you joined at a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes. Yes. So welcome to history, Soulful Cream Podcast history today. And so y'all who are listening or watching, today's episode we are going to be just having a conversation about what is Onyx and what is Onyx about. Some of you may have never heard of Onyx. Some of you may have heard of Onyx, and you have your own thoughts and opinions about it that may be based on nothing, but maybe based on something. And
We all
Soulful and
have
I are going to try to
assumptions.
be the people. Yeah, we're going to try to be the people. So some of the questions we may ask or may not necessarily be our own personal questions, but we are asking questions for the people, right, Soulful? Right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And the man has given us carte blanche, as they say, to just be open and ask questions and talk. So I just say let's just set the stage right now, Nemean.
Okay.
What is Onyx? Who is it for? What is she about? Let's just
Well,
start there.
okay. So historically, in the leather culture, if you date back like 80s, 70s, the leather culture was really geared towards Caucasians. You did not see
Mm-hmm.
black people or people of color in a leather environment. So in
Mm.
1995, Mufasa Ali created Onyx to give people of color a safe place to explore their kinks and fetishes and enjoy the leather lifestyle.
Okay. And how long have you been a member of this group?
In September, it'll be 5 years.
Mm. Now, what do you feel like is probably the biggest mis
Misconception.
perception? Is that the right word? Misconception
Misconception.
of
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah, conception of of this organization.
That we're a sex club.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is true. So,
Well, if that's not true, that's going to cut our episode short because that's what all our questions. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
right? It's not
That
true.
just
Bye.
eliminates about 70 of our questions.
Now, I will say that Onyx is very sex positive, and a
Mhm.
lot of the events that we do have spaces where sexual intercourse may happen, but there are
Mhm.
lots of types of play that don't even encompass sex at all. Like you have wax play, which
Mm.
it's all about the sensation of hot or warm wax.
Mm.
Um, you also have I think of flogging. I mean,
Mhm.
they don't necessarily touch any of your genitalia. It's just the feeling of the instrument um touching your skin.
Mhm. And what is the process? So it's not, here I come. I come up to you. Hey, I understand that you because you're the vice president of
I
what?
am I am the vice president of Onyx, the Onyx Great Lakes chapter.
Okay, so you
Onyx
are.
has 9 chapters, and I'm the vice president of the Onyx Great Lakes chapter.
And so for what did you say that means? He's the what of the
He is
chapter?
the Kamala Harris,
He is the Kamala
the
Harris.
Kamala of the
Yes,
Midwest.
I'm affectionately known as Kamala in my chapter. When someone says Kamala, I know that they're speaking to me.
Oh, cute! I love it. Okay, so here I come. I'm a rube. You know, hey, I see you guys here at the Club of the Eagle tonight, or wherever we are. And I think I want to join. What are you going to say to me?
Well, I would first of all pick your brain because
Hmm.
joining Onyx is not for everybody. Because a lot of
Hmm.
people think that, you know, if I join Onyx, I'm just gonna get a lot of sex. I'm just
Right.
going I'm just gonna get it on with everybody, and that's not necessarily true. And our pledge master says Onyx is not Ayana fix my life. So if you got issues, it's not the place for that. But if you
Uh-huh.
are a viable candidate, I would
Hmm.
say that you know come to a few events, get a good feel, and then submit your application. Your application is reviewed, and if it's moved forward, then you do an interview with me and the pledge master. After that, you'll be interviewed by 3 of our brothers, and then you'll go in front of the whole chapter, and they will do rapid fire questions. And then, if you get voted through, you'll go through a 6 month pledge process. And
Okay.
then, if you do well, then you'll cross and be a member.
Um.
Now, what are the characteristics of a viable candidate?
Thank you. You
Um,
read my mind.
well, for me, because I am what's also called the membership chair, so I am in charge of membership. What I look for is someone that is they know who they are. They know who they are. They know who they are. They're
Hmm.
not. Um, I just kind of get a feel for them. Like it's something about a sixth sense with me. If I feel like you're coming on some, can I cuss?
Yes, you sure can.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you're coming on some bullshit, then I had because I'll go through your social media. I'll look through your posts.
Okay.
Because I have had someone where I've went through their posts, and they were trying to use us to
You better
promote.
fact check.
They were trying to promote their club business. So I was like,
Oh.
no, So I look for, have you attended an event? Have I seen your face before?
Hmm.
Have I seen you in like a space where I've seen you play with other people?
Hmm.
You know, I just kind of have to fill you out. You have to just kind of be a person that I feel that would be good for the organization, an overall good person. Because if you got a shitty attitude, eh, we've had some of those. Um, you just won't be a good fit. And sometimes the shitty ones they get through, and then we have to kind of like
Weed
check
them
them
out.
halfway. Yep. Not everybody always makes it through to the end.
Uh-huh. Now, what if someone would says like, well, they're really just some kind of clique that's just, if you don't just the diverse are there diversity of personalities? Is it more than just people just kind of having a hive mind and and kind of situation?
I No, I mean, we definitely, when we have events, we go out of our way to make sure that patrons that come feel welcome. Like
Hmm.
we don't just congregate with each other. We make a conscious
Hmm.
effort to say, "Hey, thank you for coming." Like if I invite somebody, I'm definitely going to engage with them, and if I see somebody that I've that's consistently came to the events, I'll make sure that I engage with them. But we try to engage with everybody so it doesn't feel like, oh, we just we just throw these events and then we all hang together, because that, that's not going to promote people to come back again.
Like one time I was talking to this guy. I'm not gonna say where I was because it'll maybe will identify him, like his chapter or whatever. But
Mhm.
this is a real story. This is a real story. Okay. So I was at the bar and I was talking to this guy who was actually, I guess, a former Onyx leader, and he wasn't anymore. I assume once Onyx, always Onyx. I guess. I mean, unless you get kicked out.
Mhm.
So I was talking to him and I was like, so maybe, know what I gotta do to, if I think about joining. And he's like, well, and I probably did it just like that too. He was like, he was like, well, why do you want to join? Does that sound like something someone would say? Right? Because that's what
Yeah.
he said to me right away.
Yes.
He said, so
Yes.
why do you want to join?
Hmm.
And I said, well, for the brotherhood, and then he was like, you can get brotherhood anywhere. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, damn, Gina, why are you so aggressive? And he's like, you can get brotherhood anywhere. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he mentioned, like, well, first of all, is that the attitude? Is that the prevailing feeling? That brotherhood is not the answer. That's not the right answer.
Okay. So it because we've been around so long, the words brotherhood and camaraderie are the two words that stick into us like a thorn. So when you use those
Oh,
words, they're like trigger words.
wow. Okay. Jeez.
So, you know, because I mean, technically, you can get brotherhood anywhere, and you can still get brotherhood out of Onyx and not be
Without
a
being
member.
in it. Okay.
Yes. So with that particular interaction, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because
Mhm.
I may have said the same thing, but I wouldn't have said it like that.
Like that, right.
I'm definitely a people person, and I would
Okay.
never
Uh-huh.
catch an attitude or just be snarky for no
Uh,
reason.
well, then the next thing, because I didn't end the conversation there, because I was like, okay. Well, so I was like, so well, what would I have to do? Because I was like, well, he said, I can't remember exactly how we got to this point in the conversation, but we got to the point in the conversation where he said that you have to demonstrate as a part of your, I don't know where in the process, but somewhere in the process, you have to demonstrate whatever your kink is, like, that you what you want to do. And I was like, oh, I don't know if
Mhm.
I would want to do that. And like, why do I have to do that? And he was like, I forgot what he said. But is that true? And why do I have to do that?
Okay. So when you go through the pledge process, you learn and you identify what your kinks and fetishes are. So you go through this whole learning process. The pledge process is to teach you, to teach you about the leather lifestyle, but it also is supposed to help you find who you are within the leather lifestyle. So at the end, there is something called a teach, and you get up in front of the chapter and you teach what I learned in boating school is, as SpongeBob said. So yeah, I had to do a teach too.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not something where you got to get naked or like, it's not to embarrass you. Like, I loved my teach. Like, our line did an amazing teach, where we all kind of, there were like for 15 of us, and we all kind of, we put on a show, and it was amazing.
Mm.
What was your teach, if you don't mind us asking?
Mine was wax play. Mine was wax play, and I was a dom in the scene. So me and my brother, who's now also the president, shout out to Nemean Onyx, we poured wax on another friend of ours, and we basically demonstrated, like, the type of wax to use, the how to get it off, how to prepare the body
Mm.
before getting it off, and but I
Mm.
mean before putting it on and then getting it off. It's how to get it off
Mm.
easily.
So I suspect that Bath and Body Works candles are not the wax that you're
No,
trying.
because they have a high burn. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a high heat. So you'd use paraffin or soy candles,
Okay,
Mm.
because
something with
they kind of,
the lower heat
yeah,
capacity that's not going to
they
damage the skin.
it matches your body temperature pretty much. So yeah.
And with all that being said, how do you perceive? So you mentioned you say people think that it's a sex organization, right?
Hmm.
Do y'all care, or is there an effort to change how the outside world sees the organization?
Um, I would say no.
Hmm.
Strictly because, like, if you the people that say that are normally on the outside looking in, and
Mm,
once they get in, they're like, wow, this is totally not what I expected. Because my husband pledged the year before I did, and
mhm,
I thought the same thing. And then when I started going through his pledge process along with him, like attending events, I was like, wow, this is totally not what I thought it was going to be. Did sex happen? Yes, but it was not
mm,
the main focus on either of the events. Well, with the exception of one, because we have one called the Kink Museum, and that can be
mm,
really raised. That one can be really over the top. But most of it is just drinking, dancing, having fun. We
mhm,
have demonstrations that may go on throughout the night, depending on you know what the theme is. Yeah,
mhm,
but I mean, I guess, do we care? I would say no, because when you get to when you the people that really think that are typically, they just they wouldn't want to embrace Onyx anyway. They just
mm,
think what they think, and they don't care. But the people that actually really want to know, they'll like, okay, I'll come to one event, and then they're like, wow, this is not what I expected.
mm,
I mean, we've had preachers come to our events before, and like, oh, okay. Not naming
mm.
names, but yes. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, how is this group? Is monogamy? Is someone in a monogamous relationship? If they join Onyx, are they um, stepping on a tightrope for their relationship? Is there a place for a monogamous person to be in this group?
I would think so,
Hmm.
because you can always learn kinks and fetishes to explore with your partner. Like my best friend, him and his partner are in Onyx, and they are completely monogamous.
Hmm.
And none of their relationship has not been tested at all.
Mm.
They have a very strong foundation, and they're good.
And what would you say is probably the most unusual? And I don't mean to say this in a judgment way.
Mhm.
So, what was the most unusual kink? Would you say to the average Joe? Not that it's unusual to you, but the average Joe who's not in this life would say. Like, can you describe it?
Um, I would I wouldn't say scat is unusual, because I think that defecating has been something that's like it it's been a thing for a while. But one that
Hmm.
kind of stood out for me was, it's called sounding. And
Mm.
sounding is when you take like a medical grade instrument, and you
Hmm.
insert it into the whole your urethra,
Hmm.
and it kind of like slides down
Mm.
to your balls.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And
I
to
hear that the
watch.
purpose of that is to stimulate your prostate from the other end.
Yes.
Mm.
I've literally been 3 feet from somebody sounding. Actually, it probably was closer than that. And to see the penis accept the instrument, like it just slid down.
Oh.
Like he didn't push it; it just
Oh.
slid down.
Oh. Jesus.
And
Oh
you know,
God.
so that's
Wow.
probably one of the more outrageous ones that I've seen. But I've also seen somebody put electrodes on their
Oh.
on their penis, and
Uh-huh.
it made it get so hard I thought it was gonna bust open like a hot dog. You know what when you boil a hot dog and it gets
Yes.
really, really,
Oh my God.
but it was really,
Yes.
really hard and veiny, and I was like, is it okay? Is it okay? And he was enjoying it. I'm just like, I was scared that like a blood vessel was gonna
Oh
bust or
my
something.
God.
Yeah.
Yowza! Wow.
Different
It
That
makes
all
me think
happens
is
at
are
different folks.
no, what are you about to say? That all what?
that all happens
You about to
at
say
our
something?
that all happens at our Kink Museum events, which happens to be July 22nd this year in Detroit.
July so is that people pay for admission to those things? The Kink
Our
Museum, or is that exclusive to the group?
Mm-mm. No, Kink Museum is definitely open to everyone. Everyone. It is one of our more expensive events because it's an experience. Um,
Mm.
because it's kind of like you go to you're going to a museum and there's exhibits set up all around the um the
What are the
place.
ticket prices looking like?
um 20, 25.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking
Okay.
you said this one of the
Uh,
more expensive events. I'm like,
Yeah, because
it's like,
normally we charge like $5 to get, like, if we're gonna charge
yeah.
a cover, it's gonna be $5. But
oh, that's great. So it's
Kink,
really accessible to anybody
yeah,
who's interested. It's not like anybody
oh
gets
yeah,
priced out,
oh yeah,
even for
yeah,
the more expensive
Mhm.
ones. That's great.
yeah. We don't do pride prices.
Is there a place to sit in case someone wants to, just really just stay and focus in on a certain exhibit in the museum, or you got
hmm
to keep walking the whole time? Mhm.
No, there were definitely, it's set up different every year, but last year there definitely were tables set up where people, because there's a stage, and like people set up on the stage where our main attraction was set up on the stage and people could just sit and watch.
Mm. Now you are wearing a very interesting shirt. It just stood out to me. For those of you who cannot see, for our listeners who are not watching on YouTube uh, or Spotify, his shirt says Team Bader there. So what are you trying to tell
Lifetime
us?
membership.
What is that? What is that? What does that say? What does that mean? There. What does
It
that shirt mean?
means that I love masturbation.
Oh, okay. Because when I see that, I'm thinking about the YouTube videos I see of all the dudes standing in the circle and having parties and all that kind of stuff and everything. Or
I
the
wouldn't be
equivalent.
I wouldn't be opposed to a circle jerk, but
Uh,
it's not something that I've done before.
gotcha, gotcha. Well, I think we're all team Bader then in that case, right? I feel sorry for
this
people who are not.
this shirt was more of a novelty. um a couple weeks ago we had our bar night for the month of March, and I was just like, I didn't have any new t-shirts to wear, and I was like, I don't want to wear an Onyx t-shirt. I wanted something that was a novelty, so I got this off of Amazon.
Oh, okay. Now, what about body positivity in the world of Onyx? Like, you know, how would you say that is in terms of all type of body types being celebrated in that organization?
uh it, Onyx is extremely body body positive. I am 300
Mhm.
pounds, and I definitely walk around in a jock strap and a harness and boots and nothing else. And I like it felt so freeing when we went to this event called North American Bear in February, and I was just walking around like I was the shit. But we have like several people that just wear what no, someone say whatever, they wear whatever makes them feel like they're the shit. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
when you wear something and you wear it confidently,
Yeah.
can't nobody tell you nothing.
Mhm.
So we're always rooting on when we see our members like wearing something new, wearing something different, wearing something fresh. Yeah.
Now the organization is for I guess all sexualities as long as they're not straight. Is that right? Am I everything but
It
straight folks? Can straight folks creep up in there?
well, it is for bi and gay LGBT people of color. However, we
Mhm.
do offer associate membership for straight, you know, straight men, women, and people of Caucasian descent.
What they
So
trying to
we
do up in there?
what you
What they looking
mean?
for? What like
I
what is the reasoning that they say? they want to occupy those spaces, particularly straight
Affirmative
Caucasian.
action.
I mean, I I honestly don't know because I'm not straight, but we did have, or we do have a straight man, a straight identifying man in our organization. I don't know what chapter he's in, but like when I before I even pledged, he actually came to one of our events with his pregnant wife, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like more power to you. Like if that's, but he does like he was the first person that I actually saw do wax play, and he did it on a man. But his
Mm,
wife was right there rooting him on, and I was just like,
mhm.
okay,
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Very interesting.
Some people just get off on the the dominant submissive part of it, and they
Hmm.
don't really identify the gender of the person being the dominant or the submissive.
Okay. No,
It's more about
that makes sense.
it's about the energy as opposed to the sex of the gender of the person.
No, I can see that. I can see that.
Mhm.
Uh, so okay, this sounds a little gossipy. Okay,
Oh God.
this sounds a little gossipy. But what is the what are the reasons that people have gotten kicked out of this organization? Once not that you didn't cross over, but that you crossed over, you got in, and then next thing you know, however many months, years later, girl, she's out. Like what?
Um,
How does one get kicked out?
fraud.
Mm, hmm.
Not, fraud. Um, because we did have that happen. Um, just like trying to fight,
Mm.
causing commotion in within our chapter. Just things that would get you put in Facebook jail.
Well, Facebook jail. Okay, I got you.
Right. I
Uh,
mean, if you're trying to fight your brother and like like you can clearly see that you're trying to attack him and
mm,
he's like not trying to fight you, something
right.
like that will you may get a slap on the wrist, but if you keep trying it, yeah, you gotta go.
Mm. And when you said that you're, I forgot the gentleman, the leader who said this is not therapy or, we're not here to fix you. What does that mean exactly? What are people looking for that have come there that makes them say that?
Um, and this is our pledge master Jay Phoenix, and he's basically saying that Onyx is not going to be the a fixer of your body dysmorphia or
Mm,
you know or your mental issues. That is something that you would see a certified therapist for. Onyx it will give you a confidence boost. It will provide a space for you to learn and to become more confident, but it's not it's not going to fix anything that you may have going on mentally or physically.
mm. How has Onyx changed your life? I know that's a frou-frou question, but how has
Well,
your life been changed by being a part of Onyx?
well, I definitely wouldn't be doing this because a few years ago, I would have been like a podcast. What? I'm too shy. So it's definitely giving me a lot of confidence. It definitely has. Um, it's helped me like be able to speak in front of people because
Mhm.
that was an issue for me. It helped me to hone in my leadership skills because I did not see myself being anybody's vice president. So it's and it allowed me to be sexually free and I guess express things that I probably held in that it gave me an outlet to express things in the sexual nature that I couldn't do before.
Mm, interesting. Like what? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You don't have to share. You don't have to share that if you don't want to. You don't have to share that.
I don't mind. I just don't know because YouTube has certain things that they'll flag and like
Uh-huh.
so I just don't want to like.
Good, yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
want you to be able to put this on all platforms.
Okay. All right. We'll have to have an Onyx After Dark section.
That's fine.
uh, no, I appreciate that.
But I will say that
Yeah.
I'm very much into feet.
Okay. All right.
I
In what
love
way?
um I mean, I love to suck toes. I mean, I love a man, like a man, especially if a man has like a 15 foot and it's like big and wide and yes, yes,
Now
yes.
you are married,
Mhm.
right? How long
Yes.
you been married?
We will have been married. God,
True married.
we will be married 15 years together. 2023 on
Damn.
June 17th.
Dang. Now during that time, have your because I know you mentioned y'all had a open marriage, right?
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
During that time, has the that's a long time together. So how has the relationship changed, and then how has Onyx influenced that relationship? Because was he in Onyx when you first met him? No,
No,
right?
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
We didn't
Because
know
you
what the
said
heck
you
Onyx was when we
right.
first met.
Yeah, so I'm curious how your relationship changed, just as a curiosity about relationships, but then secondly, how Onyx affected that change.
Um, so when we first got together, we were monogamous for the first 4 years. From 2000 to 2004, we were monogamous.
Mhm.
We had a had a break. We took about a 6 month break, and then we got back together. And he said, "Well, I want to try having an open relationship." I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm 24. I have no idea what the hell an open relationship is. And he was like, he's like, well, we'll be able to like mess around with other people. And I'm like, I'll try it. So, it's kind of been that way ever since. But then how Onyx changed it was there were he joined in 2017 and I joined in 2018. There were things that I learned about him that I just like he brought out that I just didn't know before. Like he likes wearing lace. I have no
Mm,
idea. I had no idea that he liked wearing lace. And he was
mm,
like extremely into toys. I had no idea about that. So it
mm,
allowed us to explore what our kinks are with each other.
mm. And I think that's cool. What would you advise people who aren't in Onyx but who are in relationships? How would you advise them, if you do, to get to that point where they can learn things about their partner that their partner might not be expressing? How might they get their partner feeling safe to express their kinks without them having to join Onyx to do that?
I mean, I would say just to sit down and have a conversation and have an extremely open mind because this is your partner. This is hopefully the partner that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So you want to be able to explore everything with them. You want to be their everything. So
Mm-hmm.
you definitely want to be able to satisfy, you know, that part of them,
Mm-hmm.
or allow them to get it for somebody else. But if you don't want to do that, then you just gonna have to work it
I
out.
would imagine that when you're in your mid 20s and a committed relationship, you haven't even had an opportunity to discover all your own kinks yet. You're still learning.
Yes, because like we may have had like a couple toys back then, but like it's nothing like we have now. so,
The other kink museum.
like he totally got me into toys. I didn't know anything about a toy until after I met him. He opened up like a whole new world for me.
We could have a
So
talk offline about all the different versions. Because me and my partner, we talked about, we're like, because we're open minded, we're men of a certain age. We're like, listen, hey, ain't nothing wrong with having some accoutrement to help,
mhm,
to play with. There's nothing wrong with that. But being newbies to it, we don't necessarily know where to go, where to. Hey, well, let me just. I think this is safe right here. We won't get flagged for this. where if someone was interested in toys like myself, people out there, where might they go, and what should they be on the lookout for? To what are some pitfalls to avoid? Like bad rubbers, or like what I'm talking about. Not rubbers like condoms, but you know what I'm talking about. Like what should people be looking for to avoid?
Go to Amazon.
Just go to Amazon.
Yes, Amazon is full of toys. like you wouldn't find like you just wouldn't like find like searching for something and just see a toy as a recommended item. But if you search specifically for something that you're looking for, it's gonna come up.
Uh, any
So
particular brand?
So does Groupon.
Oh, this on Groupon. Does Groupon got toys too?
they do.
Oh my god, child! I'm
And
so
Wish.
behind.
And
And
Wish.
Wish. Well,
Yeah.
y'all hear it here. Y'all hear it. 'Cause I'm sure there's somebody out there who's just as ignorant as me,
Yeah.
who don't know about this stuff.
But like if you're looking for something specific like maybe a fleshlight, like you'd probably type in like male masturbator or something like that, and
Mm,
then you'd get different versions of type of masturbators or strokers or whatever you call
mm. Okay. Well, this has been very enlightening. Now, besides the sex stuff that people usually say about Onyx, what do you want people to take away? What do you want someone listening to this podcast to know about this organization?
them. I would like them to know that what I would like them to take away from it is see search out like Onyx in your area. Come to an
Mhm.
event. Like really come and see what we're about as opposed to just making judgments off of like pictures you see or what somebody else's experience what
Mhm.
somebody else's experience was, because their experience may not be your experience.
Right.
And we do things other than like have bar nights. We have um benefits and stuff. We have education panels. We give back. Like we have a toy drive every Christmas.
Mhm.
We take canned goods on Thanksgiving. Like we do stuff like that that don't get recognized because sometimes the sexual aspect overshadows it. And I think that it's probably because those people want to engage, but nobody's looking their way. No shade, but shade. So yeah.
Let me ask you this one question.
Sure.
And that'll give you a chance for you to explain yours as well. The name assignments for Onyx, how do they
Yeah.
happen?
Okay. So my name is not the name that was given to me. Um, the pledge master thinks of a line name, and that's the name of the whole group of new pledges, and then each pledge has a name that fits within that line name. Like we just recently had a group of pledges come online, and their name is Metamorphic.
Mhm.
I came up with the name Metamorphic because metamorphic rocks go through a transition.
They must be the rocks.
Yes, and these five pledges, they are associate members that want to transition their membership to full membership. So each of them has a specific name of a metamorphic rock. So we have
Mhm.
slate, um, serpentine, quartzite,
Mm.
uh, nice, and I can't remember the other one. But yeah, they like so my pledge name was Turbo, and our whole line name was called Full Throttle, and all
Mm.
of our names were either car parts, types of cars, you know, or manufacturers of cars.
Mhm.
So, but I did not identify with Turbo, and I picked the name Nemean probably within the first month. And my pledge master said, he's like, "Hey, you may not want to choose your name that easy because you that early because you may find something else that you identify with." And I said, "No, I won't." And I'm like, I'm 39. I'm 38 at the time. I'm like, yeah, I when I know that I something suits me, I know it suits me. So
Hmm.
I chose Nemean, and I've stuck with it, even though I get a lot of people that mispronounce it on purpose.
Not on purpose.
On purpose, I do have one of our former assistant pleasure masters. He calls me Namin.
I mean, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yes. So yeah,
And
but
why that name and what does it mean?
okay. So
I,
I'm gonna try to explain it because I forget it. I know why it means what it means, but I know why I picked it, but then I always forget. So my sign is a Leo,
Mm,
and the Nemean lion is the astrological sign for Leo, and the Nemean lion was slain by Brutus, I think, um, in the Bible. But the Nemean lion's mane was impervious to attack. So
mm,
I'm like, okay, I like that. So because there was already a Leo Onyx, and I was like, I don't want to have a name. You're not really supposed to have a name that somebody else has, but it's happened. But I
mhm,
definitely wanted to pick a name that nobody else had.
mm.
So
Now, what about this? Is kind of a you know, what about smells? Like, do people be musty and around there? Because that's a stereotype of the leather guys is that they like to avoid deodorant.
there are members that um that a kink for them is not wearing deodorant and I want to say body odor. There's a specific word for it, but like, they get off on the natural pheromones of a man.
Right.
That is not something that I subscribe to.
Hmm.
I do wear deodorant. It may be unscented when I go around, you know,
Those people, yeah.
my brothers, or I may wear leather scented deodorant. So
Mm.
I just smell like leather. I'll have on
Interesting.
leather and smell like leather. But
Oh, wow.
yes, I mean that is it. Not and not everyone is into that, but like some people identify with that kink, and that's what they do.
There was this nice couple who came to town one time when I was in. I think maybe we were in Dallas, and you might have been there too. Soulful. I don't remember the black and white couple. You don't know that?
there's a lot
And
of those in Dallas.
no, I'm sorry. I think we were in Houston. Sorry, but I think we were in Houston, and they were from out of town, and and homie just was so musty, so nice, so sweet. But he put his arms up to like, hey, bro. I'm like, I mean, he just sends the nose hairs right off me. Yeah, I think I lost my mustache too that night. But
Yeah, typically when I'm going to hug someone that I know that subscribes to l- liking body odor, I typically hug them like this. I go under,
mm.
so I don't get the underarms on my shoulder.
Ooh,
I
yes,
get
yes. 'Cause I did feel like I got. Cause I did. I was like
yeah,
smart. Cause I did get some must on my shoulder that night.
yeah.
I did get some on
But,
there.
but I mean that it's their thing.
Yes.
It's
No
not
judgment. No
right.
judgment.
It's because there may be things that I'm into that they don't like. So like
Exactly.
a lot of people don't like feet, and they're like, oh, I don't like
Yeah.
feet. Like,
Yeah, but you don't walk around sucking on toes without permission. I
okay.
think that's the difference. That's different.
True.
Uh, but this has been a pleasure. Has been a pleasure having you here in the meeting today. And
Oh,
I think you're the first guest we have talked to like this long without some hot topics. And I knew we
really?
wouldn't. Yes, and I knew we wouldn't need it. I knew we wouldn't need it. Yeah, because this is a very interesting topic, and I feel like we're probably gonna release this episode, and we'll probably get more questions from our listeners and more things. So I see in your future a return. Uh, I see a return. I see a list of questions that the people have submitted to us, and then and so I'm. Are you game for a return in the future?
I am more than excited for a part two to this.
Nice, lovely. Thank you so much, Soulful, for the recruitment. Soulful reached out and snapped you, snatched you up.
It's so funny because like last week he messaged me and it was on Monday. He was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh God, you're not in town. Like my apartment is not ready for company. Like you don't have a layover and you need to come here for a minute." So then
I would have given you a heads up.
but and then he was like, "Oh well, this tomorrow." And then I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And then he was like, "Oh, I forgot, Cleo's like traveling, so it'll be next week. It'll give you more time to prepare." And I'm like, "Sure, that's fine." Like either way it went, I would have been ready. I mean,
Nice.
I honestly didn't do any more preparation than I didn't do any preparation. This is all off the top of the head.
I would say no preparation. That's what she said.
I'm not an I know my body gay. uh-uh.
Not knocking those that do.
Are we? Are we though? I mean, maybe we should.
I
Just a
just
little
know it's
bit.
not my ministry.
Unless
I,
unless the person is into
That.
a Hershey Highway, then you should not
or
be an
the
I
Rocky
know my
Road.
body. Yes,
Not the rocky road.
yes.
I can't.
You going through the tunnel and the train is trying to come back at you. No,
Mm-mm,
no.
baby. Oh my goodness. Well, once again, just for the people, this our guest tonight has been Nemean Onyx of the what chapter? Vice President of
The
the
Great Lakes chapter.
Great Lakes chapter, which includes what states? What's that?
And
Detroit,
we
Michigan,
encompass the Detroit, Michigan. Well, the states: Michigan,
Michigan.
Ohio, Kentucky, parts of Pennsylvania, and Canada. Actually,
Wow,
yeah.
wow. I lived in Pennsylvania for like 9 years back in the day. hmm
Really?
I did. I lived in Well, I lived in Pennsylvania for 9 years. I lived in Columbus, Ohio, for like 4 years, and I've been to Cleveland quite a few times, in Cincinnati. I know that area. I got an ex that lives in Cleveland too. You
Well, then maybe. Well,
probably know her. You probably know her.
not to visit the ex, but you should come and like come to one of our events here.
I would love to. I
No,
think the
you should come to the Kink Museum. That's what you should come to in Detroit.
I would love to come to that. I want to bring my man so we can have something to talk about. Like, did you see that?
Yes.
I saw it. Did you see that? Yes, yes, that would
yeah.
be so much fun.
But
I
yes,
mean,
I want to come back because I want to talk about the hot topics and stuff. Like I'm good on talking about like the
Oh,
goings on of
good. The
the
goings on. Yes,
yes.
we'll have you back to talk about the goings on.
I
Then.
heard you like Janet.
Yes, love. You see, I got just a little bitty
I
taste
s-
back there. Yes, a little taste. hmm Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, it's been really real. Thank y'all so much for listening to this episode of the Soulful Cream Podcast. I am Cream Diggler.
I am soulful Mexican.
And thanks again to Nemean Onyx for being our guest today. And we will talk to y'all later. Ta ta.